Hey everyone, it's Michael and
Reuben!
From Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, bringing you all the really good stuff. What do we got today, Rubes?
Lots and lots of gold, but a particular type of gold.
We do. So this is a bit of a fractional discussion more than anything else. It's not really an unboxing, although we might even do a bit of an unboxing in a minute. So we had an interesting scenario occur today. So about 10 minutes, probably an hour before we did this video, we had piles of these 1 gram bars, huge amounts of these 1 gram Perth Mint bars. Now these are...
We've still got a pretty big pile, to be fair, but it was even larger
but
before.
It was even larger than this by almost 2,000. But they're just a very simple, you've probably seen them before, 1 gram Perth Mint fractional minted bar. 4/9 gold, all look very swish, come with all the information on the back, and they look really good. They're not cheap on a per gram basis if you're looking at it, comparing it to a 1 ounce bar or anything like that, because it is fractional. We've gone through this many hundreds of times, but there are times when fractional gold is really good. Now what we had, the scenario that occurred was we had a gentleman bring in I'm chucking them around now, 2 kilo bars of gold. So you can see one there and then there's the pant next to it. So he's brought in 2 kilo bars and said, I don't want this bulk gold anymore, because he's bought the kilo bars because they're the cheapest way to source your gold really in a bulk sense.
Buying in bulk just like anything else.
Yeah, like buying a 20 kilo bag of sugar is going to be much cheaper than your small bag on the supermarket shelf. So he's bought these and he's gone, well, these are too big for me. I actually need smaller fractional stuff. Now, whether that be because he's looking at I need to be able to exchange smaller chunks down the track, whether he's looking at, I want to give some away, and let's face it, it's far less painful to give a 1 gram bar away as a present than it is a 1 kilo. But for whatever reason, he's recognised that you can't chip the corner off a 1 kilo bar and sell it back in. And so he's broken it down into, 2,000 1 gram bars. So in actual fact, what he did is he took about 1,800 1 gram bars and he used the balance of the gold to pay the extra premium, because obviously there's quite a bit more premium on a 1 grammer than on a kilo bar. But I thought it was interesting to see that people are actually starting to do that now. They're taking their bulk gold that they've bought in previous times and they're swapping it over for the fractional stuff, recognising that as gold reaches close to $100,000 Australian a kilo, maybe it's time to start looking at the smaller sizes, the fractional sizes. So if I just need a quick 5 grand down the track, or in this case, a few $100s, I've got the options, I've got the alternatives that I can use. And it doesn't have to be 1 grammers. We've got a lot of 1 grammers displayed here, but you can also go into fractional coins. So I've got a couple of tubes there, or a couple of rolls there. And we've also got, wherever I've put the knife, we've got in here, do we know what these are, Rubes?
I think the only brief I had was fractional coins, so I'm hoping for some coins in there, but I'm not 100% sure which ones.
Perth Mint produce a 1/10 kangaroo, as small as they go in the kangas, or in the Luna, they actually go down to a 1/20th.
Yep.
So that's like 1.5 grams. And these are feeling very 1/20ths. Oh, actually.
So we're kind of just pitching this as kind of either to get you thinking about it, or to see if it works for you, because this is kind of a very split topic, and I'm sure the comments down below will kind of reflect that. But there'll be a lot of people that go, why the heck would you take 2 kilos of gold and if you're saying around about 1,800 and lose 200 grams essentially off that,
the premium,
to have it in a bunch of higher premium bars. And there's other people going, well, I'm stacking it so that I can trade little bits here at a time, and why would you ever want 2 massive bars like that? I want them in lots of little pieces, and why didn't they buy them like that in the first place? It really is one that splits the community a little bit, but we are really seeing more and more customers come to us and say, hey, I've either got this or I just want to buy, these fractional amounts off the get-go. And so it's absolutely a topic kind of worth discussing. And, is it a good way to go? Is it not? Kind of depends on how you're looking at stacking. But you just kind of have to be aware of those, advantages and disadvantages. Advantage, you get lots of little pieces you can trade. Disadvantage, you're spending a whole lot more for it.
Yeah, but I know it's not as simple as I'm making out, but he bought this. I actually know the gentleman. I know when he bought it, and he was paying somewhere around about the $60,000 per kilo for these things. Now they're going for near on 100 grand, like I said. So even though he's lost his 200 grams in gold, he's actually only paid about $60,000, somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 per 900 grams of gold in fractional. So in some ways, he's swapped his capital growth for a premium and giving himself more options. Now, would I have done it into grams? Probably not, but certainly I would have considered converting that into ounces. That's quite a good way to go. So that way, if I need a quick 3, 4, 5 grand, I'm again not trying to break the bar in half. I've just got that straight. I can sell an ounce moving forward. So it gives him those options. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we probably should comment on, these actually turned out to be 1/10
I was going to say, let's take a look at those coins.
So these are, I might even open one. These are 1/10 rabbits. Now they do, so that's about 3.2 grams. So these actually come down to, in the rabbits, they come down to 1/20.
And they really kind of get bulked out almost by the capsule they're in more so than the gold themselves.
And if you have a look on the side, they're wafer thin, and the 1/20ths get even thinner. So, they're a very small coin and not much gold in them. But again, great for, if you need a present for the kids or the grandkids or, the neighbour, that sort of thing. It's that smaller amount of gold, but it's still impressive because it is gold. The other thing that you need to look at with these is particularly, and Reuben might even cut me off here, but the other thing you need to look at is also availabilities. So you'll find at times, like right at the moment, we can get the 1 grammers, we can get 1/20th and 1/10th rabbits and the 1/10th kangaroo fairly readily. As we move into the second half of the year, you're going to find from places like the Perth Mint, so really I'm talking to the Australian market right now, you're going to find their availability falls right off because Perth Mint have, again, I don't have any inside information. I'm making an observation as a retailer from what the wholesale lists and the conversations I'm having. But it looks like they've stopped producing the rabbit, in particularly the fractional size. They're stopping producing the kangaroo fairly soon. And if the last few years are anything to go by, they'll actually stop producing the 1 gram, the 5 gram, the 10 gram minted bars because they will focus their production on those, on the dragons and that they have to release going into the second half of this year. So if you're in the market for either the fractional minted bars, so the 1 gram, the 5 gram, the 10 gram particularly, or if you're after that 1/20th particularly, the 1/20th rabbit or the 1/10th in the rabbit or the kangaroo, you really need to look at purchasing them in the next month or two. Because I can tell you on the wholesale lists that I'm seeing, the 1/20th is no longer available. And doesn't look like it will be for the rest of the year until the dragon comes out. And the 1/20th dragon, they won't produce until next year, going by previous history. The 1/10th is running low, although I'm still seeing it occasionally. The 1 grammer is out of stock from Perth Mint currently. Yes, they will probably do another run before they do the dragon, but even then, that will be the last run. The 5 grammer is exactly the same position. That's actually out of stock on a lot of the wholesale lists. So if you're into that fractional gold, and particularly the coins, but the coins and bars, if you're into that fractional side, be aware that you're going to see the numbers start to dry up on most of the retailers around Australia. We covered everything, Rubes?
I think so. Like I said before, light up the comments below. Let us know, where you stand on either, buying in bulk or buying fractional. Because it really is an interesting discussion to have, and we see completely different points of view kind of come in, one after the other sometimes. So.
And I agree with and in fact,
there are advantages to both. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look in my stack, I have both ends of the spectrum. Purely because I want some that's just bulk. Like let's get the best bang for the buck we possibly can. But then I've got the other end where I want some fractional because I might want to give it to one of the kids, or I might want to trade it in for something, or I might need a ready source of cash, but I don't need, 100 grand. I need 2 or 3 grand in a hurry.
You mean you're not giving out kilo bars?
Yeah, not this week.
Yeah.
Come back next week and we'll
All
talk.
right, we'll have a chat then.
Alrighty, I think that's it for now. We'll talk again very, very soon. Have fun.